Welcome, angry faithful, to the Friday What the Hell episode where we talk about political banter stuff and stuff that we found interesting on the internet. Now,
And sometimes it's stuff we found interesting. You might not, but we did.
yeah.
And if you don't, do we care? Maybe a little.
No, not a bit. I'm pretty much a evil person. Now, the first topic that we're going to talk about is the main title is our gas prices going down. The problem with that is tenfold, but this is what Trump said this week on that.
Justice to do an investigation for oil companies that you said gas prices were not coming down quick enough.
That's right.
And you are concerned that there is price gouging going on, taking advantage of the prices. Sir, can you elaborate on that?
So it's ExxonMobil, it's Chevron, it's Shell, it's BP, it's a lot of them. The gasoline or the oil prices have come down so much, and we are not seeing anything at the pump by comparison to what it should be. We should be, in my opinion, at $2.25 right now at the pump. And we're higher than that. And we are doing a big investigation on it. Yeah, they're not reducing the prices commensurate with what's happening. Look, we are sending out, think of it, 19 million barrels came out yesterday. That is a flood. That's like a gusher. That's an oil gusher. And they should be much lower, the gasoline prices, which really is what people see more than anything else, but for their car. But the gasoline prices should be much lower at the pump. And the oil companies are possibly gouging. I hope they're not, otherwise they're going to be in big trouble. They're going to be in big trouble. We're not going to play games.
Okay. Now, there's some controversy about that. The first one is, from what the oil companies has said, is they bought the oil at a higher price. So they have to make their money off of that. Now, if that's their argument, then I kind of could see it. But another argument on that is that most of those the way that oil prices vary, one is because of OPEC. OPEC's the one that does the worldwide gasoline prices. We don't do it, which is really sad, is because each country should have their own prices of gas or price for oil for, capitalism. That's how it should work. If we're selling our gasoline, our sweet oil, to like Venezuela to get their hard oil so we can process it and make a bigger profit, then the price is between Venezuela and us. That's how it should be. Another thing was said that a lot of the OPEC stuff, there's not a lot of countries that are in OPEC anymore, because the way that they want to do it is they want to slow the prices down because they want to keep a set price. OPEC does. So the global market. But a lot of those countries want to either pump more oil out, or they want to, staffer it back. And that's what OPEC gets the Middle Eastern countries to do. They go forward and back. And even they convince us to do the same thing. Which it should be, hey, we're pumping the gas up. We're making reserves. This is our set price. As the United States, Saudi Arabia can't deal with our prices for gas, oil and gas, because their prices, last time that we got it to drop down to like 45 to 35, which is comfortable for us, Saudi Arabia had to do like a 15% sales tax. They had to up the sales tax so they can make money again, because they weren't selling oil at a the price that they were selling it. So there's that. And this is the opinion of me. Okay. What we need to do is say to hell with global pricing, set our own prices for what we believe that we can get a good profit out of. And that would stop the gouging on a lot of stuff. But right now, the gas prices aren't going down fast enough because of the whole, hey, this is our argument. We spent $120 a barrel for this oil. So we need to make our money off this first before we can start bringing the gas down. So that's the argument. Bill?
Which is legitimate because the contracts, at least when I looked at some last year, they run about six weeks out. So what they're using now, they purchased about 6 weeks ago. Then you've got to consider the cost of to transport the oil. Diesel costs have gone up if they're transporting it by trucks. So there's that transport cost that also has to be built into it. So there's quite a lag, really, between a barrel of oil and the actual cost at the pump. By the time you get the contracts, the transport cost, the refining, the time it takes to refine it, and as far as us setting a price, it's way too complicated because there's like from Canada, we get theirs dirt cheap, but we provide them reasonably priced diesel because they don't have the refining capacity. And that's where the complications get in, is countries that can refine certain types of fuel, can't refine. You have to import them and export the refined product, the oil, the base non-refined product. That's the complexity in the world.
But okay, you can figure out the logistics of it, okay, of how you can transport your product. No matter what, that's part of the pricing on almost everything. Okay, that's the reason why prices in the store and everything are high, and some of their times they're up. It's because gas prices does revolve everything in the world. But if we did all of our stuff in house, say we're like you said, we're giving cheap diesel to Canada. In return, we're getting oil, which that's part of the pricing and everything of delivery or whatnot. Again, with the mosquitoes, get you a fogger. My dad, I'll ask Dad if he'll let you borrow his fogger. But anyways,
I actually don't. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if that was a mosquito or a little spider dropping from the sky.
Yeah,
right in front of the monitor.
That's funny. But in this logistics, you can figure out all that stuff because you could give cheap diesel to Canada, and that's another thing. We'll get into that. And you can get cheap gas to other countries and everything, or other places in the United States. But that's where a lot of people don't understand how oil companies make their money. A lot of companies don't make their money off of the oil they pump out of the ground, but they make their money by refining it. And that's what happened with Rockefeller back in the day. He realized he can make more money refining the oil than he can through the process of pumping it out of the ground. And that's what ended up making him super wealthy, to the point to where they did a monopoly. They felt that he was a monopoly, so they had to separate it all. Because his company was Sunco.
Right, but it's just today it's much more complicated than it was back then. You didn't have trade with the world like you have. You didn't have, some countries can refine it, like India can refine the hell out of it. Australia, they have 2 refineries now. They import just about all of their oil.
Well,
California, the whole West Coast is an energy island. It's basically cut off, and they're having to import it from Asia and our Gulf because they don't have the capacity. So
They
that's a lot of complexities in the price of oil.
They
Price of
have
gas.
they have the capacity if they actually started drilling. There is vast reserves on the West Coast. It's just they
Well,
decide not to do it because they rather have other people do it, and they're
exporting pollution.
yes, basically they're exporting pollution. That is a great way to describe that. They're exporting pollution or they're exporting slavery, and they really are, and it's ridiculous. You have to see, hey, we need to do it this way so we can actually start making money. And it's really ridiculous.
Or it looks like with the new possible mayor of LA that New York is exporting communism and they're importing it.
I could see that.
So we've got that export import going. The other thing right now, as far as a quick move in the price of gas, is all these countries they have to rebuild their reserves. He used all the reserves, so you've got that going too. The contracts possibly 6+ weeks out, and then all the countries trying to fill their reserves. And then Iran doing its shit again, and he just needs to blow them straight to hell.
Yeah, he needs to make that place
Screw it.
Yeah, just screw it. Honestly, I'm totally with you because it was another drone attack. It was 3 attacks, but they knocked down it was 4 attacks. They knocked down 3, but they weren't able to get the 4th one.
And then Vance made a statement, we'll fight. I think it went something like, we'll fight violence with violence. They attack us, we attack them. No, screw it. Get it over with.
Here's the thing. They didn't even anything American. It was a Singapore transport ship that they attacked. Singapore. And I'm kind of forgetting who's Singapore connected to?
I didn't look into exactly why that particular one was, but I think part of it had something to do with the shipping lane that it was in.
Okay. Here's the Singapore. Who's connected with Singapore right now? It's the United States, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the United Kingdoms. I think why attack Singapore? I mean, I thought China was helping out Iran.
I don't think it. I mean, they've hit Chinese ships. They hit a Chinese one with it. I don't think the country matters. I don't think that's what's at play is deciding the country. I think it might be some side elements within their country that don't even have anything to do with the real negotiations because they're so fractured.
Okay, here I believe that you're right. They're so fractured. And it could be, and this is just being polite. I believe that their orders are not coming from the regime in one way. I think the way it is it's going from, hey, I have an idea and I got these drones. Let's try this out. And it's some general going, okay, yeah, sure. As long as they say it's because of the jihad, then it's perfectly fine. They don't care. They don't care about their own people. I mean, I seen this one video of it was like ask our spiritual leader questions. And the guy was like, "Hey, I'm not gay, but I let a guy do sexual acts to me so I can open up my crevice so I can put more explosives in there for the jihad. And the spiritual leader was like, "Oh, if it's that is not haram. That being gay is not haram. But if it's for the jihad, I mean, you got to do what you got to do." That and I was like, "Ha ha ha, that's AI." Ha 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 on me. It wasn't AI. It was true. I was like, it was like super unbelievable. I mean, I don't know if he was packing the C4 or what, but getting it packed in. That would be funny if he was. I was like, "Are you gay?" No, I'm not gay. He's just packing the C4 so I can do jihad. Ah, no, it's not gay. No, we're talking what we're talking about right now. And Bill, your camera's out again. No, it's talking about how ridiculous it is right now with Iran, what they're doing. Oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah. No, well, Bill's more Republican than I am, but it's just kind of strange right now that we're saying like left view or right view about this about the Iran is okay, backtrack to what they actually done now. They hit a Singapore transport. US had gotten rid of there was four attacks. They stopped 3 of them and one of them got through. And that's what they're doing now.
Working on it.
I seriously doubt that one.
What? That I'm working on it?
No. I'm talking in the comments while you get your stuff set up. And that one is a lie. Trump P tapes never got leaked. You're just saying weird stuff because you think it's cool and funny. Yeah, it is a neutral faction. Singapore is part of like China, Malaysia, Indonesia. I'll go over this again. It's United States, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the United Kingdoms. So yeah. It wasn't even that clever. But yeah. Well, they've been hitting other ships too. They've been hitting Chinese ships. They were hitting everything. And that's why we were making a joke about how I watched this video and I can't play the video. I'll find the video again and put it on our X Wednesday show where we're only on X. But the video shows that one of their spiritual leaders was talking about is it gay if it's for the jihad? So if they can pack the C4 and have help packing it with another man, if you get my meaning, then as long as it's for the jihad, it's okay. I thought there was AI and fake, but I went down the rabbit hole trying to verify it, and it was real. I thought it was like more or less a satire, and it really wasn't satire, and that's even worse. That's one thing about the Shiite Muslims is they're severely radical, and you can go back and find how that faction actually faction of Muslims actually became part, because they were basically assassins and they did a lot of drugs to get them to start doing that. What is this? that was the general idea with the power vacuum there. That's why when Trump first started doing this, he wasn't saying regime change. He was totally against it because once you have a regime change, you have a mass of you have civil war. You don't know who's going to be in control, so you can't, get a treaty started. And they got rid of what they believed was the bad actors that was causing a lot of the stuff that's been happening for the last 40 to 45 years. That whole government is trying to take over the world, and we've stopped it for a while. But yeah, it's a bad power vacuum right now. I hate to say this right now, but I'm all for getting rid of Iran's bad actors. And bad actors, I mean, is the Shah was a really big one. Well, we got rid of them. A lot of the generals that did genocide, all because they wanted to. You're saying this is a bad thing only because you're wanting to be the winner. When in all reality, having 12 dead troops because they decided to fund a terrorist organization. You think that's a good thing?
Not at all.
No, not at all. Now, another thing that's happening right now, and what I believe Bill was leading up to, was what's happening in New York, which basically, what do you got, like 90% tax on that's increasing, and people are fleeing that state, that city, to go to like Florida and everything. Bill, you weren't ready, were you?
Communism.
Yep. Well, it's government, but yeah. Go ahead and watch this real quick.
Easy to sell. It destroys everything, but it's very easy. I'll be honest, I think I'd be the greatest communist in history. I'd give free rent. Ladies and gentlemen, from now on, you don't have to pay any rent. From now on, anybody wants a house, don't worry about it. Just pick the house you want. Everybody gets free food. Everything is free from this point forward. Everyone's going to vote for me. The problem is, after 2 or 3 years, the country is a disaster area. The country fails. They always do. It always does. So easy to sell. That first year, boy, you're the most popular. It's happening right now in New York and California. But you'll start living in squalor. You'll live in squalor. There will be no food. There will be no housing. There will be no military. There will be no law and order. There will be no nothing. There will be no nothing. You'll be a third world inhabitant in every way, and everyone will suffer or die. You'll suffer or die. That's what happens. For thousands of years, it's been happening by different names. Thousands of years. I'm telling you, I'd be the greatest communist in history. It would be so easy. You wouldn't have to work. You could stay home. The problem is a couple of years go by, the whole place collapses. Always does. Always has. But I'm sorry to say, but assassinations of those who oppose them is a very important element of their ideology. Assassination's a big deal for them. They're animals. They're animals. In many cases, they're not smart, but in some cases, they are. It's easy for them to get followers because they make promises that they know they can't keep. And the Democrats aren't fighting back. That's why they're dumb. They're not fighting back. They're afraid. I watch Schumer. He's afraid to fight. I watch guys that are pretty normal and guys that we oppose, they're afraid to fight. The Democrats have taken a tremendous turn left. And many of these people, I looked at some of the people that got elected the other night in New York. these are in many ways stupid people, in some ways and intellectually probably pretty smart, but they're people that want to destroy our country. They hate our country. They hate our people. They hate the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is in big trouble because this isn't stopping with New York. This is going all too easy to get elected, giving everything away. Too easy to get elected. Very dangerous, but you'll soon have nothing left. That's the problem. In many ways, they're allowing them to just go their own way, do your own. We don't want to take a chance on saying anything bad because we're afraid we're going to lose our jobs if we do. They're afraid they're going to lose their election if they even think about saying anything bad about this new breed of sick people. They're not smart enough or tough enough to fight the plague that's happening. It's happening right before your very eyes. If they fought them the way they fight Republicans or the way they fight me, they'd be victorious. They didn't beat us, but they'd be victorious against the communists. But they don't have the courage to do so. So they're turning communists themselves. It's becoming a communist party. These are not social democrats. These are hardcore, godless communists. They're godless communists. All communists are godless. They don't believe in God. This is the most serious threat to our country since its existence, in my opinion, 250 years ago. This is a major threat to our country. It isn't something that's easily solved, but with a little love and help, some hard work, because it's ironic, we're celebrating a very important birthday, our most important birthday so far, 250 years. And instead of speaking about Christ, and instead of speaking about freedom and victories of all different kinds, we're speaking about yet another threat to the foundations of America. These ruthless communists will attack all religions, but in particular Christianity. They always do. They're after Christianity more than any other religion. It seems to be more and more throughout the world, maybe because we're doing so well. I don't know. Maybe if we weren't doing well. But you see the numbers, how they're growing, how the churches are filling up. It's a beautiful thing to see. I mean, look, it happens to be during my presidency, so I don't mind taking credit for it. I'm very proud. But a lot of great things are happening. All communist countries attack religions violently. It's part of their deal.
Okay. Talking about that, and yeah, talking in the comments, Bill, you just go video list for right now. Yeah, there's a thing that a KGB agent back in the 80s, he went on TV, basically planning out how long it's going to take for communists that take more precedent at the time. And a lot of people don't understand is there were people that believed in communists in the United States and even Nazism when it happened in the 30s. Yeah, you're right. There is like a mixture of it. But the thing is you don't want to overuse the money that you have. You got an infrastructure. You're supposed to have an infrastructure to where you can pay for stuff that actually needs to be paid for. One of it is going to be the roads. Another one's going to be security, police, firefighters, and first responders, EMS. Then you're going to have the protection of the border, which we didn't do well during the Biden administration. And oh yeah. If you look up what's really funny about Henry Ford, and yes, you're absolutely right. And when it came down to it, the government almost went down on a hammer on Walt Disney and Henry Ford. There's a book out there that Henry Ford wrote that is really yes, education, food, and housing. But Henry Ford, there's a book let me find out, because Henry Ford made a anti-Semitic book. Henry Ford's anti-Semitic book. It's called the International Jew, the World Foremost Problem, and it was published. He published it in 1920. It is ridiculous. Hold on, let me bring it up. See if I can bring up the image of the book. But yeah, this is the book. We'll go with this one. That wasn't it. This is the actual book. Let's see if we can find a photo of it. No. And I think Henry Ford actually talked. Yeah, there's the German version of it. But I think Henry Ford was actually he talked to Hitler a couple of times. But that was his book or pamphlet or whatnot. But yeah. You're back, Bill. Yeah, Henry Ford was until like when they actually started the war. Henry Ford was basically about to go Nazi, and let's just say the government didn't see kindly into it. But unfortunately, Bill, come back. You got one more thing to do, then we have to cut this short.
And this is kind of a bummer because I had to end up closing the session out and bringing it back up. And I saw a lot of comments by this guy I wanted to respond to. But when I had to close and open, they're
Okay, which one?
They're all gone.
Is it Chris Tomlinson?
One who was making some legitimate, actual thought out comments.
Yeah, that would be Chris Tomlinson. Which one were you talking about?
Oh, there were several. I was just glancing through them when this quick question. How do I look as far as
You look
lighting? No, lighting compared to a few minutes ago.
great. It's a little bit shadier.
That's what I thought.
But yeah. One more thing, Bill, and we got to go.
Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm actually running this on. Well,
that's right.
anyway.
Before we go, and this is not going to be on for Bill. John Bolton is now a felon, and after pleading guilty to unlawful retention of national defense information, he and his mustache. I love this. Nick Sordor is freaking hilarious sometimes. He and his mustache have an agreement to pay a $2.25 million fine, face up to 60 months in prison, which is probably around about 2 years, and forfeit his pension. As Mr. Bolden just admitted, he put our national security at great risk and violation of the law, and gave them all 60 months. So, what else were you going to say about that, Bill?
Oh, about communism?
No, John Bolton.
I didn't have anything to say about John Bolton.
I thought you said there was something else attached to it.
No, there. I think he. No, I didn't say anything specifically on that. I think there was some additional that he got out of, but I just kind of heard a little bit about that. Not really in depth. Been
Indefinitive.
Yeah, nothing definitive.
Yeah.
But you got all these people. They're not Democrat socialists. They're flat out fucking communists.
Well,
that are
okay.
winning. That are winning all over the place.
Yeah, they are.
And they're fracturing. They're going to fracture the party.
No,
I mean,
okay, here's the thing. as like yeah. Well, here's the thing about people pulling out of the money scale, because I think we talked about this last week. I'm not really sure. Is the Democratic Party they only have like $3 million, and the uh, what's the GOP, the Republican Party,
Yes.
RNDC, they have like $168 million. So people are giving money to the Republican Party. And the act that just happened just recently about the mail-in ballots, where Trump just said, "Hey, I pretty much control the U.S. Postal Service, so we're going to stop mail-in ballots." Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I'm all for a decent Democrat. John Fetterman is one of the few ones, and he's the only one I know of because he's the one that is publicized more often. He's in the spotlight more. He's a reasonable Democrat. It is crazy to hear, but it's also crazy to hear that Kamala Harris spent only around about $1.6 billion on her campaign to become president of the United States, and there are still people trying to get money from the Democratic Party because they still owe money. It is ridiculous of how much they spent. Most of their money they were getting out was USDA aid, US aid. Most of the money that what was happening is they would send money to NGO, and they would process that money back into the DNC. And that's how they were raising money to support their party, which after we found out and we stopped siphoning it, having people siphon from it and stop sending money on certain things, we realized how much the money was not going to, and this is sad, is it's both parties. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. She was a shitty candidate. They had better candidacy, and what's really sad about that whole situation is how the DNC actually does their process of choosing a candidate. It's not democratic. The Republican Party is still democratic. They the Republican Party still votes to see who's going to be their vital candidate for the presidency. Democrats don't. They have like a what do you call it? Like a group thing in the Democratic Party. I can't think of the name right now, man. My brain's we'll call it a cabal. That's the closest thing I can say. But they have a group of people in the Democratic Party, and they don't go from votes or anything. They just go for whatever they feel is the great thing. And the reason why a lot of people don't understand why they had to choose Kamala Harris is because if they didn't, the war chest for the presidency would have been gone. And you're looking at probably around about 60 to $80 million gone, because they either the president or the vice president has to use that war chest. And by war chest, I mean it has to be more or less like it's a funds for the presidency, like running news ads and everything. It would have been a tough fight. Yeah, I do believe that Bernie Sanders would have been a tough fight, but I don't see him as a viable candidate. they're what they did to Bernie Sanders, and this is not me going off of the fact of I'm a Bernie supporter. I don't like a lot of his socialist ideas. Now, saying that, what they did to Bernie Sanders was against democracy or the republic, whatever you want to. We're in a republic, a congressional republic. But what they did to Bernie Sanders was appalling because they wanted Hillary Clinton to be a president. So they cut Bernie Sanders out. They cut it. And for that election, if Tulsi Gabbard got it, that would have been even better battle. Honestly, I love Tulsi Gabbard. She is really, really good. I'm really glad that she switched sides too. And I'm hoping that her husband recovers because that was just really sad what happened with Tulsi. Because if it wasn't for her husband, she wanted to help out her husband through the bone surgery. But anyways, Bill, you got one more thing?
Yep.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And thank you for the comments and having a discussion with us. We'll be on next week, but the only problem is we'll have Cynthia Anderson come on board and we'll discuss stuff. It'll just be me and her. And Bill will be on the 250 year in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it's as long as it doesn't get rained out, damn it.
Maybe
I had a spot. I had a spot all picked out.
okay, Bill. Go ahead. Never mind. Let me just type it in. Go ahead.
Okay. I had a spot all picked out for the fireworks. I had it down to the latitude and longitude of the perfect spot to watch the fireworks, to record it, down to the AI going, okay, sit here, and it'll be postcard perfect view of the fireworks. And then Trump announced a rally that threw the whole thing into chaos. Oh, you sit there now? No, you're going to have big Jumbotron screens in front of you. Okay, so let's sit across the other side of the river. And then I thought, oh, wait a minute. The fireworks are going to be backwards. I've never watched fireworks backwards, and these are going to be spelling things out and stuff like that, so it wouldn't be impressive. So I said, hell with it. So got tickets. I'll be on the mall in front of Trump's rally. Are you there? And he is having Guinness out, the Guinness Book of World Record out, and they are going to have the largest fireworks display in the history of the world. So over 850,000 or around 850,000 shells, 8 barges. It's going to be fabulous, but I've been watching the weather and I'm a little worried about that. So let's see what happens. I also hate flying, and every time I look at the forecast for the day that we're supposed to be leaving, it says gusts over 40.
Okay. Well, we stream on Mondays at 8 o'clock. All of ours is 8 o'clock Central Time frame, Texas time. Great time. Mondays is going to be our sports show. And on Fridays, we do the political stuff or banter or something that we found interesting. But yeah, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching.
And I will not be here for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. You got Bill going on hiatus for 2 weeks. We are not going to be sad. Anyways,
I'm going on special assignment.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Thank you very much for the comments and the discussion with us.
And I
We like-
apologize for the technical difficulties.
We actually like good comments where it's actually a discussion and not a beratement and rage baiting. But
Yeah, come back in a couple of weeks, Chris.
I'm David Dickerman.
And I'm Wild William.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Love you guys. Goodbye.
Bye.